Welcome back to the bluegrass on this beautiful January day. It's about 55 degrees. The sky is as blue as what a sky can get. The sun is shining. These dogs have all been running all morning. We've had a wonderful day so far. We're headed out back to do a little four-wheeler ride and a little gunfire acclimation and stuff. But you know, in this in-between time while we're getting ready to eat lunch, we thought we would answer an email question real quick. I'm going to attempt to answer a whole category of questions with one simple, easy to understand demonstration. Now, I'm so serious about this that I've actually made a whole crate full of visual aids. Okay, well, now listen, for all you guys out there that actually know me in real life, you know 100% for sure that I didn't sit around and make these visual aids. So you might say, well, Stonnie, how did you come to have a whole crate full of visual aids? Well, let me tell you the way that worked out. So my wife, she saw me making a few notes about today's video, and she was like, oh, wait a minute, the great Stonnie is going to get on YouTube and admit that he might not be the best communicator in the world? I've got to get involved with this. So the next thing I know, she had actually made me some video presentation cards, and she asked me to use them in this video. So I'm going to, because what she's done is she's put me in the position of having to admit that sometimes the way I think things need to be broken down, man, it's just not clear to everyone else in my life, and all you guys are kind of in my life vicariously through YouTube. So here I am, admitting that all these years I could have done a little bit better job of breaking down how one decides to plan and implement a dog training regimen. Here's the mistake I've made. Now, it's not a big mistake. I'm not telling you we've been going down the wrong path all these years. Now it's time to hit the brakes and throw the truck in reverse. But it is a mistake, and it's a matter of oversight. Okay, now how do I know I've made a mistake? It's because I'm continually getting this question that relates to progress. You know, Stonnie, why isn't my puppy making appropriate progress? And that progress could be related to heeling or sitting or laying down or rolling over or fetching or swimming or kayaking, whatever it is. I mean, every day we're getting the same question. It might not be the exact same question, but the same general question, which is, why isn't my puppy making as much progress as your puppies or other puppies that I see on YouTube? Okay. Well, now, for you guys who want the simple answer now and don't want to have to watch this whole video, here's the answer. More than likely, your puppy is making fantastic progress. If you're watching YouTube videos and you're getting out and doing interesting things with your dog and you're emailing and asking questions and you're a member of a forum or some other type of board where you discuss dog training issues, I'm sure that you are doing a great job, okay? That's it. That's the simple answer. What you fail to have, okay, is what I have failed to provide, which is an appropriate and objective way to evaluate developmental stage progress over a given timeline. That's it, right? And so the problem comes from, you know, seeing dog training in a two-dimensional format. You're watching YouTube, and like you're watching this video, then you go to video 2, then video 3, and you did that all in an hour or all in a week. But what you don't realize is that in making those videos, maybe it took a bunch of weeks. Or even a little bit different than that, what you're not understanding is the difference in training volume and chronological time. So if you see me, like a lot of these dogs you see, they come here and then you watch them as they're a puppy. Like we got one that just got here today. This one right here, Tori, she just got here today. By the end of the month, she'll be in another video and she'll be doing lots of cool stuff, right? And you'll be like, oh, in 1 month, my dog should make that much progress because it took Stonnie 1 month. Okay, what you're failing to see is, you know, what do people pay me for? People pay me for volume, okay? So when a puppy comes down here for training, they get to be around tons of people coming and going every day, and they get to be around tons of dogs, so they get thousands and thousands of repetitions in a short period of time. So my training volume over time is much higher than your training volume over time, okay? So like you're watching YouTube and you click on this and this and this, and then you're out there working with your puppy and your puppy's not doing it like the video. Listen, you might have a dozen repetitions of training in where the guy on YouTube has, you know, 500, right? And not only that, let's just be honest. When you see things on YouTube, most people that are putting things on YouTube, they only show you the good stuff. You know, they pick the dogs out that do well and they put them on there. And, you know, it's kind of like, you know, when you watch men's fitness magazines, you know, they make you feel like you're not buff enough, right? You know, so that's kind of the same thing. So I'm going to remedy that oversight today by helping you learn to redefine your goals in such a way that you're going to find it easier to find validation points in your training regimen. Let me visually represent the mistakes I've made over the years. Okay, so here's how I would do things. Right, this is pretty common in the dog business. I would say, hey, get you a goal. right? Set appropriate short and long range goals for your dog's developmental stage, its breed, your time and skill level, what have you. Right? So here's your goal, right? And then I would tell you to break up the accomplishment of that goal into a series of steps, right? So you would have a step here, right? And you would have a step here. And that seems pretty simple. Okay, and it is very simple for somebody like me, because I'm just one of those old guys. I get up in the morning and I put my nose to the grindstone and I work and work and work and work. It's all I do. It's just work, work. Rain, snow, sleet, sunshine, whatever. Work is very validating for me. Okay, so like, you know, regardless of how long it takes to come up here and get to this goal, I don't really get too awful upset. I just keep plugging away. Now, see, that's me thinking that everybody else is like me, though. And that's not fair, and I should have done a better job. That's what I'm going to do today. So a lot of people, they have a little bit of trouble getting to this step, you know, this first step, trying to get it. Well, so then this goal, it kind of looks far away. And if they don't get their first step, they can't get to their second step. And if they don't get to their second step, they can't get to their goal. And people just have a hard time. I mean, here we are just off of New Year's, right? And you see a lot of people, they set some long-range goals, but they're not going to reach them because they can't follow all the steps. So here's how we're going to redefine success for this year. We're going to replace thinking about each step as a step towards a goal, and we're going to actually make each goal, each step, a goal. Okay? So, for instance, you know, like here was my goal, so I had 2 steps to get to the goal. Seems reasonable. Some people get disappointed very easily, or they don't understand how long these steps take, and so they give up. They give up down here or down here. So we're going to talk about changing the way you look at the steps in the accomplishment of a goal. Now, this ladder here, like, it might not be a good visual representation to you. So let's head over here and make it a little bit easier to understand. So right there on that little step ladder, it was just 2 steps and a goal. And I wish life was that easy. But life is really more like this ladder here, right? Where you have a goal, and that goal seems like it's way away. And so, you know, you got a step here, and you have a step here, and you have a step here, and you have a step here. And guys, look, you're looking up there at that goal. You know, you climb your way up to this first step, and that goal still looks a long way. Climb yourself up to the second, the goal's still a long way. You do all your work, man, and you're really struggling to get up here, and you still, you know, that goal, you give up right when you're here. You know, I've seen it a million times in the dog business. People get right to here, right? And then they give up on that good heel. They give up on that good recall. They give up on that good retrieve. All right. So if we just reframe it, if we redefine our expectations and we start to, you know, like take some of these steps, and instead of looking at them just like steps, we start looking at them as goals. Man, look how much easier it is to reach our first goal. You see? So if you break your behavior down into a bunch of steps, that's awesome, and it works perfectly if you're like me. If you're not like me, if you get disappointed a little bit, you know, a little bit more easily, then just redefine it. Each step becomes a goal, right? So remember a second ago, I couldn't reach this goal, but man, I can reach this one. Okay? So I reached this one. Man, that's 1 down. I reached this one. That's another goal down. I reached this one. Well, listen, of course I'm going to get my ultimate goal. Look at all these intermediary goals I've gotten, right? So you train yourself to get in the habit of reaching goals. And then, you know, being a goal-oriented person is something that doesn't come natural to you, but you can most certainly convince yourself to be a goal-oriented person, just like you can convince your dog to be a goal-oriented dog. That's what we do on my Small Challenges course every day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little demonstration and we're going to move it into real-life examples. We're going to head over, I'm doing some online training videos today, so we already have the ATVs out, so this will be a perfect chance for me to show you in real time what I'm talking about. Since my 4-wheelers are already out, we'll use getting on the ATV as an example of how one should go about setting goals in relation to teaching a new and novel behavior, okay? Now this is how I would have taught this all these years on YouTube. I mean, you can go back and watch 100 videos of me putting dogs in kayaks, on 4-wheelers, in trucks, and what have you. And kind of this is how I would always break it down. I would say, establish your goal, okay? You need a clear and concise goal. Now the second thing that you need to do is to break the achievement of that goal up into a series of steps. So maybe like in this case, The first step would be getting the feet onto the floorboard. The second step would be getting the feet onto the seat or onto the mat on the fender. The third step would be the achievement of your goal, which is to be up in the rack on the dog bed. Okay? And that's a perfectly valid way to think about it, except that not everyone, okay, can handle the fact that these steps sometimes they kind of take a long time and it can be disappointing when your dog's not getting them. So this is how we're going to redefine or reframe the issue. Okay, step one, it's not just step one, and if you accomplish it, you still got to go to step two and then step three, which is your goal. Okay, step one now becomes a goal, okay? And step two now becomes a goal, right? And then step three is a goal. So before it was 2 steps and a goal, and now it's 3 goals, right? And I know that sounds oversimplified, but let me put it into practice for you and show you how much of a difference it makes. First things first, let's clearly define our goal. Okay, so I told you I want the dogs on the ATV. It should, eventually look something like this. No name, come on, up, 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 up. A dog should be able to come over here, hop right onto the four-wheeler and get themselves situated, and then I can turn the four-wheeler on and ride around safely. All right, that's our ultimate goal. And so for some dogs, they're going to be able to get up there and get in that rack the very first day you do it. Okay, some dogs, it's going to take 100 repetitions. Okay, now that 100 repetitions could take a person 1 week, 1 month, or 6 months, okay, just depending on how much training volume you can get in per week. So we'll take a few of these different dogs and, we'll kind of give you a general idea of the variance between dogs. Okay, hop up. Now, I'm going to have to put my dog over there on the big four-wheeler because he gets jealous and he's going to try to hog this whole bed because he doesn't want anybody to get any four-wheeler riding that he doesn't get. Okay, now, let's get back to, thinking about what we were doing. Okay, so it's our first goal, okay? Goal number 1, get some feet onto the floorboard. Goal number 2, get the dogs up on the seat. And goal number 3, get them in the rack. Okay, so let's look and see how that might look with some different dogs. Now, this little dog, her name's Tori, and she just got here today. Okay, so we're just going to kind of let her hang around, and so our goal for her is just to hang around with us, right? So she's already met my goal, so I'm happy. So here's a dog. Her name's Lily. She's been with us a little while, but she lives in North Carolina. She's not going to be doing any four-wheeler riding, so this is kind of a new thing for her. So we come over here. Boom. Look right there. I know that this dog likes treats. I got a little dog crack in my pocket. So I come over and I say, hey, listen, I know you've never been on a four-wheeler before, but could I talk you into placing your feet on the floorboard of this ATV? And she's like, sure. Okay, now, this is where, being successful really comes into play. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get Lily to get up in this rack. And so if I just looked at that as steps, right, I would have got step 1, but I would have failed to reach my goal for today, okay? But by looking at that as a goal, look, I'm already up, right? I've already accomplished 1 goal. Now, listen, how many people get up and accomplish a goal every day? Not that many, right? So I'm ahead of the curve. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and position myself in such a way that maybe I can accomplish 2 goals, right? So I got her feet up on the seat. Now you notice she's not making much in the way of effort to get all the way up here. So I'm going to probably have to accept the fact that I only got 2 out of 3 goals accomplished today. But see how that sounds so much different than I got 2 steps into a goal, but I didn't get anything accomplished. All right, so we'll let Lily off of here. Good, we'll try it with the new dog. They'll take, for example, let's take Tempe. Oh, come here, Tempe. Now Tempe is a real hard charger and she really likes to eat. And so I would think that probably with Tempe, I'm going to be able to get all 3 of my goals. I don't know, we'll have to see. So there's goal 1. Now, I got a little trick that I'm playing here. See this dog, Lily? She is, and some people would have you believe that this doesn't exist, but she is what we call around here a jealous dog. So a lot of times, like if you're asking her to do something, she's like, nah, I don't think so, I'm busy, right? But as soon as you start doing that same thing with another dog, then all bets are off, and she's over there going, oh, Stonnie, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. All right, so I would not doubt that when Lily sees me making progress with Tempe that like she jumps up there and kind of vies for attention. All right, so Tempe's already got her feet up here on the floorboard. Dang, look at that. So I'm already up. Another goal down. So I'm gonna come up here, get her feet on the floorboard. Good. I mean, look, so if this is all I get today, it's perfect because I've already accomplished a goal. Now let's see if maybe I can accomplish 2 goals. Dang, that worked out perfectly. And look who's wanting to tag along. Little Miss Jealousy right here. So I'm gonna act like I'm gonna give her a little dog crack, but I'm not. Good. Now, all I'm gonna do here is position my body. I've got 2 goals. I have nothing to lose. If Tempe comes off this side of the 4-wheeler, okay, she's coming off this side after reaching 2 goals, right? No big deal. But I'm gonna position myself over here. Wow, wow. Now what sounds better? I accomplished 1 goal with 2 steps, or I got up and in my training yesterday, I accomplished 3 separate goals. Right? I think that accomplishing 3 separate goals sounds pretty good, okay? So, like, look, that's how I'm gonna, this year, that's how I'm gonna choose to reframe things, to redefine my success. And I want you guys to understand that if you will just get out and have a good time with your dog, redefine your success, make going out and doing things, make that the goal, right? So then how can you have to email me and tell me that you're not making appropriate progress? When you're reaching goals every day, believe me, you are making great progress. Now getting down is a little harder than getting up, so I'm gonna bring Tempe down here and let her take her off her leash. And who else do we have? Oh, we got little Emma here. Now Emma is a super hard charger. She is into everything, so I would anticipate that I can probably, you know, accomplish some goals with her. Now look, this is what happens. Remember I was talking to you about you can convince your dog to be goal-oriented? Looky here. This dog's already becoming goal-oriented. She's decided that she's going to set goals for herself and reach those goals. And, you know, we're always trying to encourage that. We want dogs that we don't have to tell what to do. We want dogs that make good decisions. So we'll talk to Emma. Come here, Emma. Come on, Emma. You can do it. Oh, you might have to give Emma a little bit of sweet talk. Get down here, tease her with that dog crack a little bit. And you guys, I want you to pay attention because I'm loving on Tempe. Oh, Tempe's awesome. And I'm loving on Emma. Oh, Emmy's so awesome. But I'm ignoring Lily because my theory is that that Lily will eventually get jealous and hop on up here. Oh, come on, Emma. Oh, come on, come on. Now watch. See, I've made a mistake. I came over here too far and Emma couldn't. She decided to go around the 4-wheeler. So let's get back over here. Come on, Emma. Come on, come on. See, she's trying to run around. Okay, so I need to back up. Oh, come over here. Make this a little easier. Go over there. Come on, you can do it. Good. Now, sometimes to accomplish a goal, what a person or a dog needs is just a little bit of a helping hand. So you see how she's trying to accomplish goal 2? I'm gonna reach down here and just give her a little bit of a helping hand. Good. Bam. 2 goals down, right? If I can get 2 goals down, surely I can get 3. Look, there we go, 3. Look how I'm racking up those goals. Just by a little bit of changing of wording, a little changing of perception, I'm knocking these goals out left and right. Now we're back up on my Exercise with Small Challenges course. Now this is where I teach my basic vocabulary and my essential physical skills. In other words, this is where I teach the fundamentals. Now when we were getting on the 4-wheeler, that was an example of how to set goals in relation to new and novel behavior, right? Because most of these dogs, they're not going to ever be riding 4-wheelers, okay? But now when we're back up here on the course, guys, this is the fundamental stuff. Okay? And I think over the years I've done a pretty good job of, you know, teaching you how to teach behavior chains and how to break those chains down into their individual behaviors, okay? And so like, you know, up here when we're working on the vocabulary, we work on come and let's go and hup and easy, wait, stay, that kind of stuff, right? And you guys are going to see that in a minute because I'm going to demonstrate it. Okay, but I always used to teach it like, so this here, say we'll take this as an example. This is one of my physical impediments. And so we would say hopping over this, okay, is an example of a behavior we would like to see. So we would break it down and we would say first step, we want the dog to walk up to the impediment. Second step, we want the dog to make some effort at negotiating the impediment, like put its feet on the board, or similar to putting the feet on the floorboard of the four-wheeler. And then the third step would be to jump up and over, okay, which would give us our overarching goal of being able to negotiate the obstacle successfully, right? And it doesn't matter whether we're talking about like this jump right here or this A-frame. Back up there a bit, Georgie, and show them. So it would be the same thing if we were doing the A-frame. So, our first step is to approach the A-frame, and then our second step would be to make some effort to come up the A-frame. Our third step would be to get to the apex of the A-frame and then wait. So you get the idea of what's going on there. Okay, and I've taught it for years, and I've had a lot of success. Okay, but in the effort to be more inclusive, okay, we're not just going to think of this as a first step. Okay, we're also going to think of this as a first. Watch out, Tempe or Tori. As a first goal. Okay, and we're not going to think about this attempting to negotiate the obstacle initially as just step 2. It's goal 2, okay? And then, of course, actually negotiating the obstacle successfully is, step 3 and goal 3, right? So for you guys that have a little bit of trouble and you get disappointed easy, or you feel like you're not making progress, redefine what's going on. If you get your dog to approach the obstacle, listen, let that be a goal, and let the accomplishment of that make you feel good. Because for me, it sometimes takes me 30 or 40 repetitions to get a puppy to navigate this obstacle, right? To overcome this obstacle. I can get those 30 or 40 repetitions in one day, because I've got a lot of dogs running around, the puppies are following them, stuff. It might take you 2 or 3 weeks to get the same volume of training, to get to that 30 or 40 or 50 number. Okay, so now I'm going to get some dogs and walk them on leashes, and we'll talk about this as I demonstrate this concept in fluid action. All right, well, let's do a little bit of dog walking, and we'll talk about how you can use this idea of reframing or redefining in your everyday dog training activities. Up, 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 up. Now, this is Lily. Lily came to us about 4 weeks ago and just doing all the normal, crazy lab stuff, jumping up on everybody, pulling on the leash, running off with the kids' underwear, chewing things up, things like that, right? Okay. And so what did we do? First thing, we set some reasonable goals to accomplish over the course of a month. And what are those goals for dogs that come here? We want them to learn how to come when they're called and be still when they're told and have good manners, especially from one's neighbor's perspective, okay? And so how did we get there? Well, we do lots of socialization, both with other dogs and people, and environmental socialization. And then, of course, we come out here on our Exercise with Small Challenges course, and we teach our basic vocabulary and our essential physical skills. And over the years, easy, I've done a really good job, I think, of like explaining our overall strategy, and even going so far as to break down the accomplishment of that strategy in terms of a series of steps. Right? Wait. This is where it gets tricky, and now this is where, this is what's led me to think in terms of helping you guys redefine the way, you judge your progress. Easy. Here's the mistake. You watch me do this. So people that watch my video channel, they saw this dog get here. Oh, it's a good dog. Saw her get here last month, okay? And she was a wild character last month. And then they check back in 4 weeks later, and they see how good she's doing, and they think to themselves, okay, well, Stonnie has laid out the strategy, he's broken it down into steps, and he's shown us that what can be accomplished, in 4 weeks. So you get to working on your dog, you have the same basic strategy, you're using the same basic techniques, have the same, very similar goals, and you're even going so far as to breaking things down the same way I break things down, but you end up disappointed, and here's why. Because you're thinking in terms of chronological time. It's been a month, but what you need to be thinking in terms of is volume. In this 1 month, we have been able to get hundreds, maybe thousands of repetitions of dog-on-dog interactions, dogs and people interactions, dogs in the car, on the four-wheeler, around the trash, whatever it is we're working on. We do this all day, and we've got people coming here to help us all day. So by the end of that 4 weeks, we're up in the hundreds or thousands of repetitions, but at the end of 4 weeks, maybe you're still down in the dozens, okay? So it's not fair for you to think the same thing. And so even though like you're looking at it in terms of you're following the same steps, you're not getting as much volume, right? So you're not accomplishing the steps. And when you don't accomplish 2 or 3 steps in a row, now you feel like you can't ever reach your goal. But if you just redefine it, guys, just redefine it so each step is a goal, well, now you're off to the races. So we'll use Tempe as an example. Come on, Tempe. Now, Tempe's a good little puppy, but you know, Tempe's owners, they don't have any experience with dogs. And so, like, let's say something simple, something I would take for granted. Like I'm teaching the L-shaped dog walk here. I might say this is a goal and it's a series of steps that lead to the negotiation of the obstacle, which is our ultimate goal. So just break it down into as many steps as you need to. Well, that works perfectly for me. That works perfectly for my son because we kind of understand what that means. All right, but to a lot of people, do you see that right there? You see where she got off of this teeter-totter, right? To a lot of people, that's a failure. Okay, but we're going to consider just trying to negotiate the obstacle as the accomplishment of a goal. So even though, like I might not get her to be able to even come to the balance point or to successfully exit the obstacle gracefully, okay, I've accomplished a goal. That's what I'm talking about reframing. So that doesn't mean that I'm not going to come over here and try to do a little more. It's just that, see, I'm not going to get this today because she hasn't been here very long. I can still consider this a win because I accomplished a goal, right? And if you need that, remember, guys, as a dog trainer, my job is not just to motivate these dogs to do things. My job is to motivate you to keep, you know, yourself getting your dog out and doing fun stuff and doing interesting stuff and teaching the dog, okay? So these validation points for you, they're super important, and I'm sorry that I haven't done a better job of articulating a way for you to find validation points within your training regimen. Okay, so you can see here I've got this new dog and I'm giving her all this positive reinforcement, and I preach and preach and preach about, you know, you look for the good in the dog, be the change you want to see, but I have, you know, if I'm honest, I have not done a good enough job of teaching you how to find your own validation points, right? So I've had 1 million people come out here and not be able to successfully negotiate any of these obstacles, right? And so what I would tell them is just to work hard, suck it up, and just keep breaking down your goals into smaller and smaller steps. But, I mean, obviously, due to all these emails that I get, you know, that message is not a good enough message. And so that's where this idea of reframing comes into play, right? So I'm gonna come over here. If I can't get her to negotiate the obstacle, I'm still happy because she made an effort. So that's a goal. So see, that's the validation point for me. That's the positive reinforcement for me. So anything extra, that's awesome, right? So if I get this on the first day, that's awesome. But if I don't get that on the first day, it was still an incredible training session because I was out and I was doing something fun with the dog. And while I was doing something fun with the dog, I was learning about her and she's learning about me. And I know that if I just keep putting one foot in front of the other, we're eventually going to get to the point where the dog will come when it's called, be still when it's told, and have good manners. Let's go, Tempe. Right? And so that is what I want you to take from this video today. Okay? I simply want you to understand that it's not good enough for you just to think in terms of motivating the dog. You have to redefine this process in such a way that you as the trainer, you as the owner, can find your own validation points, okay? Because if you can't find some validation points in your training sessions, then that leads to frustration. And when you get frustrated, you're not a good dog trainer, okay? It's just as simple as I can put it. A frustrated dog trainer is not an efficient dog trainer. Because remember how I always tell you to be the change that you want to see? What, do you want to see your dog be frustrated? Of course not. But whatever you're being, okay, is what your dog's going to become. So if you can manage to redefine things in such a way as where you can be successful, then guess what your dog's going to be? It's going to be successful. Okay, all right, guys. Well, I hope today's video made up for, you know, what I've not done properly in the past. And so shoot me some emails and tell me how you have personally redefined your goals in such a way as you found more success than you were finding before. All right, good luck, guys.